Yeah, round lip, roll, leather bound chairs.
So out of cigars, hang stick in the air.
Cigar Month, the host with most, sparkling my guest. A legendary face with stories to spare.
Across the men that bring tales untold, in the smoky haze connections unfold.
With a puff of smoke, a bond is made. No time.
Family, what's good with you? What is good with you today, y'all? You know what I mean? Yo, it's a Friday. It's a Friday. It's the end of the week. It's the last day. How you doing out there, y'all? It's one more time. It's your man coming to you from the lounge right here, Tapping Ash in Las Vegas. It's time for another Cigars and Conversation with your fellas in the building. I'm your man, Cigar Mick.
It's the banker, people.
Yes, y'all, we here,
Yeah.
y'all. We know it's been a minute, y'all. It's so much going on in the world, y'all. Like, I mean, we come at you all the time and we tell you it's so much going on in the world. And sometimes, man, you just got to take a beat. You got to take a moment. You got to let it marinate, you know what I'm saying? Because if we come at you every week, just hitting you with everything that's going on out here, y'all, I'm telling you, they're going to run us up out of this piece. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, y'all. But you know what? There's a lot to talk about. We're going to try to take our time with it, you know what I'm saying? Because, again, at the end of the day, man, you know, it's so much, bro. I'm overflowing, bro. I'm about to burst in this piece, man. Like, I so much going through my head right now. But you know how we get started, family. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk a little bit about what we smoking right now, man, and then let's just see, you know, where the conversation takes us, man.
Absolutely.
How the spirit moves us today. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. You want me to start?
Yeah, man, run it.
All right, good deal. But yeah, so we had a great interview at PCA earlier this year with JC Newman.
TPE.
Or TPE, excuse me. I'm sorry,
Word
my
up.
bad.
Yeah.
But TPE, we didn't make it to PCA.
Right.
But TPE with JC Newman, and I mean, that dude talked forever.
Yeah, man.
Man, but he gave us
Bobby Newman.
Yes.
Yeah, that brother was cool.
A wealth of knowledge.
Absolutely.
A wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
And I was just talking about how I used to smoke the Brick House Fumers, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
the Fumers is like, and if people don't know what Fumers are, it's the cut pieces of a cigar,
Exactly.
right? It's the last ends of whatever the tobacco is left. They
It's the
roll
chitlins of the cigar.
It is. It is, bro. It's the guts, it's whatever you want to call it, right? It's
Yeah,
the
right.
chilies of a cigar, right? It's
Word
the
up.
last end. But I used to smoke those all the time. Once again, we talked about on the last episode about box fillers, right? Having box fillers to fill your box with. This is not a box filler.
Right.
This is not a box filler. This is work.
Yeah.
This is time. This is work.
Yeah.
This is a roll. This is a nice cigar. So this is one of the Brick House actual cigars. This is the Maduro.
Yeah, that's not a Fuma, though.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. But beautiful smoke. Got really reacquainted with it after we did that interview.
Okay.
And I said, okay, I'm gonna go back to them
Yeah.
and see what they doing, what they popping with, right?
Yeah.
And man, fell in love with them again, all over again. Sometimes cigars are a love affair, bro.
Yeah.
It's like they may come back to you. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it's like you had that old girlfriend or whatever back in the day. You be like, man,
You be on Facebook like, I wonder what she doing now. You know what I'm saying?
that's what JC Newman did to me, bro. And I had to come back to it. So,
Word.
but definitely great smoke. This, like I said, this is the Maduro. I know everybody talks about full flavored, all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Like, is it a full flavored cigar, all that? It's just a good smoke.
Yeah.
I don't think about full flavored, all that BS. Like, you know, I'm not going to say peppery and, you know, all them kind of notes and stuff that people say. I'm just going to say I enjoyed the smoke.
There you go.
And I said, okay, I had to come back to it.
There you
But
go.
I was like, okay, I had a couple ones a couple weeks ago here at the lounge. And I was like, I'm going to smoke one on the episode. Because I was like, man, that was a great interview we had with him.
Yeah.
He took a lot of time with us. And then at the same time, they make a good product.
That's what's up,
A
bro.
great product. And we always talk about, too, about doing the tour in the DR. We got to do it. We got to do
bro.
it.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
got to do it.
Well, JC Newman, man, is actually, they're down in Ybor City. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, they about to do, I saw something that was out on social media. Like, they have, like, these JC Newman days or something like that, where they do, like, free tours and,
Don't
you know,
tempt me, bro.
food and all of that, bro. Like, we
Don't
really,
tempt me,
we
bro.
really need to make a trip down there, bro. You know what I'm saying?
And that's too
yeah.
easy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's too easy.
Exactly, bro.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I got the homies down there, you know what I'm saying, down there in Tampa anyway, bro. So got a
Okay.
place to stay and all of that, man. But really, man, that's some place, man, that really would love to get to, like, really, really soon. You know what I'm saying? Get down to Ybor, man.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's too easy, man.
And that's like the next best place to Cuba, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like Cuba of the U.S. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to cigar making, you know what I mean? So yeah. So Ybor City, so much history, bro.
And I'll be in the DR in July.
Okay.
And so I might have to leave the wife for a minute, bro.
There you go.
I'm gonna drop her off somewhere at the hotel.
You gotta
or
be careful how you say that.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Especially when you're referring to the DR, bro. You know.
I've never been. I've never been.
That's why I'm saying. Okay. That's why I'm pulling your collar right quick. You gotta be careful how you say that, bro. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna be in the DR. I'm gonna leave the wife for a minute. Yeah. Brothers out there is like,
I don't want to be one of the passport boys.
Yeah, you
nothing
gotta be
like
careful,
that.
bro. You gotta be careful how you say that.
No, but I do want to hit some of the factories while I'm there.
Yeah.
So at least one, if not multiple, but at least one.
Word up, man. That's what's up, man. And you need to go check out the Reyes factory. Shout out to Nurka, man. Nurka hit me up a couple of weeks ago, man. She just saw me on social media. She's like, "Yo, cigar make, what's going on with you?" You know, that type of stuff.
They sell the most tobacco of any country or any the manufacturer.
Any factory down there, bro. That farm, man, that factory, they like the largest, bro. There's so many people that are using Reyes tobacco, man, for their brands and stuff. So yeah, definitely want to shout them out when you get down there. Also, man, on the DR tip, I'll tell you what I'm smoking today. So going back to what you just said about TPE, you know, at the end of the day, man, I do want to say, man, I am still feeling the effects of not making it to PCA, right? So I really, you know, I'm really kind of messed up about it. I feel like I should have made the additional effort. You know, shout out to the PCA organization. I appreciate y'all showing love to you know, a puff a minute and whatnot. I wish we had, you know, I wish I could have made it at the end of the day, but didn't make it. You know, I found out afterwards that people, oh man, I found a hotel across the bridge, man, you know, for like $400 for the whole week. And I'm sitting there like, how come everything I saw was like $600 a night? You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, didn't make that trip. I'll be more savvy about it next year and make sure that, you know, I'll be able to find something that's more within that wheelhouse. But anyway, going back to TPE, there was another acquaintance that I made for the first time at TPE. And this is my first time smoking their brand, right? So this is YR Cigars, right? YR, they're out of the Dominican Republic. This is a brand new brand, actually, man. And I love, you know, checking out new companies for the first time, right? I think that was their first, you know, that was their first show, to be honest with you. Met them through another gentleman that's a friend of a puff a minute, ZR, right? Zohar Riesman from ZR Cigars, right? And they're YR Cigars, no relation to my knowledge, right? But these were two corporate gentlemen who, you know, love cigars, and they decided to start a brand, and they actually named it YR after one of the guy's wife. Those were her initials. Okay. That's what I remember, right? So those types of stories stay in my head. But this is it's Dominican you know, on the binder and the filler. This one has the San Andreas wrapper. I also believe that they blessed me with one that's a Connecticut wrapper, and they have a Sumatra too. I got to check the humidor, see if I got that one as well. But this is the San Andreas. I decided to break this one out today, man, 'cause this is my first time actually, you know, checking them out and what have you. It opened up really nice, you know, so I'm hoping that they're doing well. I haven't seen them around. I don't even know, like, right now, like, who's carrying these guys, you know what I'm saying? But I just want to, you know, check them out today. So YR is the brand, guys. This is the Sumatra I'm smoking today. I would say look for it. You know, check them out online. See if there's any other, you know, people out there who have done any reviews on them or what have you, and see where they're coming up. But right now, I'm just getting started. So far, so good for me. You know what I mean? So yeah, it is what it is, fam. Yo.
So, you know, you get in that first third, you got to kind of judge it off of that first third, and then we'll see how it changes over the
smoke. The back half is the most important for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, in the beginning, man, it's kind of hard to say, oh,
you see how it draws.
Now, there have been sticks when you light it up, bro, you be like, yep, nope.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? This ain't one of those, so that's a good thing, right?
I know. I was at Big Smoke one time. I had a stick. I said, yep, that first third. I was like, yep, I'm about to throw up off this. Exactly. Like, put this down.
Exactly. Yeah. But nah, this is, honestly, it seems like they know what they're doing right here. So, you know, we'll see what they do out there. You know, there's so much competition, man. So many people coming out with these new brands and, you know, new lines and, you know, labels and all of that type of stuff. And you just wonder, you know, the competition is so fierce. How do you stand out? You know what I'm saying? How do you stand out in a humidor that's got so many staples in it right now when you're coming out with something new?
But you have somebody like a Puff Minute, right? That says, okay, we're gonna really delve into how you built the stick.
Come on.
How did you put it together? And we're gonna smoke it on the show and give it to the people, right? So it's like boom. That gives you a whole nother highlight versus some of these other ones that's in competition with them, right?
Bro.
And I'm like, the story sometimes ain't good enough.
Right.
The story just complements the cigar.
Exactly.
How did you complete it? How did you put it together?
Exactly.
That's a whole nother complex of issues. So, but definitely, man.
Exactly. That's why they need to be taking advantage of this platform, baby. You know
I always think about Big Chicken, man. I was like, you know, I'm like
drunk chicken.
Drunk chicken. Excuse me. I'm sorry, Big Chicken, but drunk. I'm thinking the Shack spot.
You want to eat?
Yeah, I'm hungry. I want some chicken. But Drunk Chicken, yes. I always think about her story, and we highlighted that she went through a complex process to build that cigar. We want to see that more from some of these small boutique brands, right? We want to see more of that. Tatuaje went through the same thing. Went through this whole complex process. We would love to see if YR does the same thing. We'll highlight them.
Exactly.
We'll highlight them.
Exactly right.
Shoot.
Real talk, baby. Real talk, man. All right, man. Now it's time to get to the real a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And you know, like I said, you got to softball this a little bit, right? So because it's so crazy what's going on, man. So, you know, but I am of the mindset that there's so many things that are happening in the world right now, right? But there's so many veils that are being rent, right? That everything is moving in the same direction if you are cognizant enough to see the patterns, right? So you could talk about, like, one topic, for example, is, man, everybody wants to talk about the NFL draft, right? Everybody wants to talk about, man, what they did, quote unquote, to Shedeur Sanders, right? Oh man, that was so wrong. And we can start right there. You know what I'm saying? We could start with the Shedeur Sanders thing, right? Or we could talk about the latest executive orders, right? We could talk about, oh, well, there's the executive order now that gives, you know, police officers across the nations, you know what I'm saying, you know, carte blanche, right? You know, basically that they can do whatever that they want to do, right? Without any recourse, so to speak. Or there's another executive order that now says that, oh, guess what? Now you can deport American citizens, right? We can talk about those things, right? Okay, yeah, we can talk about that. Or, you know, everybody now in the black community, at least, are talking about this movie that just hit the scene, right, a week or so ago, called Sinners. But I'm trying to tell you that every one of those is telling you the same thing, but if you look at it from the right perspective, every one of those stories is lining up in the same direction. You know what I'm saying? And it's a crazy, crazy thing. At the end of the day, people, the vampire's at the door. I'm trying to tell you, you better see what's happening right now. You know what I'm saying? Because all of these things, man, are lining up. You know, and it's crazy to me to see. So when you want to start, bro? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to spoil the movie for you, because I know you haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen the movie yet. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to spoil it for you, or spoil it for people, you know, who are watching who haven't seen it yet. You know what I'm saying? But there's so much in that movie that will go over the average person's head, you know what I'm saying, if they're not, like, tuned in. You know
so let's do this. So without spoiling the movie, let's just jump into it, right? Because I've heard things. People, we've had conversations, and I've heard two perspectives. I've listened to people here at the lounge, and had conversations with people about the movie because I haven't seen it, and so they're like, "Oh, you got to see it, you got to see it, you got to see it." But then I hear one thing. There's a lot of demonic stuff in the movie. But then I hear a lot of stuff there's revealing in the movie. And I'm like, okay, you get two perspectives from people who have seen the film, right? And then you got these people going viral right now. They're going viral on Instagram, on YouTube, TikTok, whatever, talking about this demonic aspect of the film. And I'm like, I didn't see how that could play a part in the film. And thinking about what the film was about, right? Just looking at it, like I say, high level, I haven't seen it. High level, I'm like, okay, how was there so many demonic features in the film, but at the same time, there's other people having this perspective of that was a dope ass movie, and it had all these cool ass, like you said, it was hitting so many highlights of what's really happening today, right? You got twin brothers in the movie, the twins, right? You started talking about twins are duplicity, right? You start talking about having people that are doing the same thing but different ways, right? That's duplicity. Then you start talking about the vampire aspect of it, right? And then you start talking about, okay, but then you got the girl talking about you ate my pussy out, you fucked me down. Right, but it's you got so many different things happening in the movie at the same time. Now, I'm saying this from the perspective I haven't seen it, but I'm seeing what's gone viral on Instagram and whatnot. And once again, we always talk about getting information from multiple sources.
Right.
So I'm thinking of it from multiple sources and multiple point of views. But I was like, I want to get your take on it, man, because I was like, shoot, I'm hearing these different things, and I'm like, what the hell? And then you can't ruin it for me because I still got to see it.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
So I would say it like this: you are primed right now to look at the movie, you know what I'm saying, with new eyes, because you got some things that you're looking for when you go to see the movie, right? I would say this about the twins in the movie, right? Because you used a very specific word, right, in your description right there. You said duplicity, right? Ooh, bro, and that's the perfect word, right? Because I want to talk about the quote-unquote duplicity of the African American experience in America, right? W.E.B. Du Bois once wrote.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
He once wrote, right, that the African American experience is that you will never be African enough to be fully accepted into the African society, and never American enough to be fully accepted in the American society. So we had to walk this fine line. Okay? You see what I'm saying? Between not really belonging in either world completely. You see what I'm saying? We had to create our own lane, right? All right. Such is the case with Smoke and Stack, right? The two brothers, right? And the way that I see it, the way that I received it, right, was that they were basically two sides of the same coin, right? They were really like one individual, you know what I'm saying? They weren't complete without the other. Without being a spoiler, I'm just going to give you this one little tidbit. Right? This one little tidbit. The movie opens up with the two brothers, right? Suited and booted, right? One is dressed, right, as an Italian gangster. The other is dressed as an Irish gangster, right? Little things, right? And then you'll find out later on that the liquor that they brought back from Chicago is like some Irish beer and some Italian wine or some mess like that, right? So again, they was up there working for Al Capone. I don't want to get too deep, but there's reasons for that. But you'll see that the one brother, right, Stack, is rolling a cigarette. Okay? He rolls a cigarette, he lights the cigarette, and he hands it over to his brother Smoke. And then Smoke smokes a cigarette. All right. So I'm gonna say right there, at the end of the movie, okay, all right, Smoke is alone, right? All the shit that happened. Smoke is there, and he can't even roll a goddamn cigarette. He's going through the shit, right? Because that side of him is gone. He can't even roll it. So he looks at I'll just say it, the Klansman. He's like, you got a cigarette? You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, it's that duplicity. You know what I'm saying? There's that duplicity. One was tied, right, to his heritage, through his connection with his woman, right, who was Anna, who was basically, you know what I'm saying, probably one of the strongest characters, in my opinion, in the film. He was tied to his heritage. The other one was more tied to the desires of the world, right? When you get to a certain level of success. so to speak. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
And you see that in the obviousness of it as well,
Okay.
right? So again, like I said, it's that duplicitous state and what have you, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And once you make that crossover, you know what I'm saying? You know.
Go ahead and say it, bro.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna see the movie anyway, and then I'm gonna make my own determination. So
people say that, okay, people say, well, it wasn't a real vampire movie for me. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a real vampire movie. It's not like The Lost Boys or, you know what I'm saying, the Draculas and all of this type of stuff. And I'm saying you're missing the point, because the vampirism that takes place, right, is not, you know, it wasn't the blood vampire. It was vampire of culture. You know what I'm saying? What, you know, what Reddick wanted, you know what I'm saying, was the essence, right? The purity, the essence, the talent, the, you know what I'm saying, the culture and all of that he was getting from, you know, basically the young man who was, you know, the musician and all of that type of stuff, right? Which is, again, you know what I'm saying, when we are entertaining, when we are singing, when we are on the football field, when all of that type of stuff, you are cool as long as, you know what I'm saying, somebody else can own your talent, can own, you know what I'm saying, and all of that type of stuff. At the end of the day, man, it was so many messages in this movie, bro. You know what I'm saying, that it's just incredible. You know what I'm saying? And it was so deep, bro. Like, there was this one piece, man, where, you know, they split up, you know what I'm saying? And one brother goes to, you know, to see, like I said, the sister who was still deep into the whole African culture, so to speak. The other one goes to the town, you know what I'm saying, to get what he needs to get so that they can do what they had to do, you know, with this party that they throwing. But when he gets to the town, when he gets to the neighborhood and he goes to the store is owned by the Asian folk, right? Again, messages in the story, bro. Messages in the story, you know what I'm saying? So he's owned by them, and they cool and everything, right? They come and they help with the party and all of that type of stuff. But when the shit hit the fan at the party, right? The Asian wife, she's like, hey, to her husband, he's like, we came here to help them with the party. We didn't come here for all of this. Like, it's time for us to be out.
Oh man,
you know what I'm saying? And when the vampire at the door started talking to her in her own language, like, look, you don't need to be here, part of this, such and such. You know what I'm saying? Start talking that, you know. She started thinking differently. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, bro, there was a lot of messages in that movie, bro. You know what I'm saying? And people were looking at it from a very surface view, so to speak, man. But I'm telling you, from beginning to end, there was so much, right? And then you look at things like, damn, what really took place? Why was everybody so mad at Shedeur, right? Was it because, you know what I'm saying, why did he drop to the 7th round? You know what I'm saying? Was it because he didn't have the talent?
No.
Well, was it because his father was an asshole or this, that, and the other thing?
No.
Well, no, because when Archie Manning was standing up for Peyton, everybody thought that he was just the greatest dad in the world.
And
Eli, you know what I'm saying? He was the greatest dad in the world. But when Dion, you know, tries to help and direct his son, right, now he's being meddlesome and, you know, this, that, and the other thing, and it's harmful to his kid's career. No, that's not what it was, bro. Because as long as you realize that you understand your talent and you don't need this process or what have you, right? Now, it's not a threat of you being talented. It's a threat of knowing your worth. It's a threat of knowing your value.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? As long when you walk into the room knowing who the hell you are, right?
Oh my
now
God.
you're a problem. You know what I'm saying? But when you walk into the room and it's like somebody else can say that they made you, right? Or they can take credit for, if you come into the room and you a blindside story or some shit like that, and somebody else can take credit for you, right? Now it's somebody, you know, if it's a survival story, you know what I'm saying? Oh, we can get behind that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But when you come in there already knowing who you are, oh, now we gotta humble your ass.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So again, bro, like I said, there's so much, man, and I'm going on and on and on.
No, but I'm just thinking like you hitting a lot of high points, bro. I'm thinking about like from the storyline, right? One of the things that gets on my nerves so much, we as a culture, we want to make everybody else in the room feel comfortable. I just had this conversation with some other good brothers, and I said, we as a culture walk into a room, we want everybody else to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Fuck them. Fuck them, we ball. It's a movie I love all the time, Snow in the Blood. But he said in the movie, he's like, fuck them, we ball. It was like, because we want everybody else to feel comfortable, and we going to be uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
I
got earrings on today, right?
Yeah, I see.
So I was like, I got the rings on, right?
Yeah.
My tattoos.
Yep.
I was like, I'll come in the room and say, okay, I got to cover up my tattoos.
Yeah.
I'm not going to wear earrings, whatever, right? We make them feel comfortable versus us doing what we need to do. Once again, the duplicity, right? We do it to ourselves.
Duplicity.
We do it to ourselves.
Yep.
Like, we come into a room and they say, maybe it's whitewashing or whatever, right? I gave a speech the other day. I said a couple cuss words in the speech. Didn't care. I said, you can take it how you want to take it. I'm giving you good information at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say a couple cuss words because that's who I am.
Yeah.
That's what I grew up with. If it was my granny or my mama in there speaking, you would have heard 30 of them.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, we do everything to make everybody else feel comfortable. The other side that I'm going to say, look at the Saints pick, right? The Saints pick. You didn't pick Shedeur.
Right.
You picked this dude from Louisville that got no fucking accolades at all. At all. You picked him as your quarterback? Come on now. What is we doing?
Exactly.
What are we doing? But at the same time, like you said, they're going to create this crazy narrative. Shedeur, his daddy this. He didn't do well in the interviews, then found out that there was a conspiracy with the interview.
Exactly.
That was the kid that called him and pretended he was the team calling and got his phone number off the call sheet or whatever. And did all that stuff. And I'm like, come on, man. What are we doing? What are we talking about?
Exactly.
But when we talked about this on the last episode, I'm gonna make this last point. We talked about this on the last episode, bro. We was talking about how with the whole economy thing and stuff, and everybody's like, oh, Trump is ruining my life. Trump is doing this with tariffs, and Trump is doing that. At the end of the day, if you letting one individual control your life, what are we talking about? That can't be the end all be all.
Right.
It cannot. If you say, okay, I'm moving to Ghana, I'm moving to wherever, right? Or I'm gonna do this. You have choices. Don't ever sit there and look back like, I don't have no choice. I can't do nothing. I can't do nothing with my life. I'm like, if you're doing that, it's over for you. It's over for you. And we talked about that on the last episode.
You're right, bro. At the end of the day, man, like, I feel like, first of all, I think we give Trump way too much credit. You know what I'm saying? Because what's happening in America is way bigger than Donald Trump.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
It is.
Especially when you talk about the economy. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about the state of the economy in global economics and all of that type of stuff, the U.S. dollar has been on the decline since like 2016, right? No politician has told the truth, right? No politician running for office has told the truth, right? Everybody has been like, oh, we're great, we're doing great, and we're the strongest, nation in the world, and, so on and so forth, and blah, 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 and all of that has been BS, right? So at the end of the day, let's just say the United States and China are equal right now. Let's just say, for argument's sake, we're equal. But if we're equal, it's because the United States is on the decline and China is on the incline, right? So we're not going to be equal for very long, right? If that's the case, right? I'm talking economics, though, economically speaking, right? So I do believe, right, that I feel like the U.S. dollar is being strategically and purposely devalued right now, for other reasons or what have you. For this new crypto that they just got all of this money from Abu Dhabi for, like these billions of dollars from Abu Dhabi for, they talking about putting these crypto machines in Congress and all of this type of stuff. There's a lot of other stuff that's going on, man, behind the scenes, right? That's happening. But regardless, what worries me, right? For example, let's just talk about this whole new initiative to, empower the police state, right? The police force that, that they can't, be prosecuted or what have you for anything that, that's going on right now. right before that took place, right? You know, if you're following things in the news, right, there were a bunch of law firms, right, that were, you know, that came up that basically they said, listen, you know what I'm saying, you're going to be forced to give the Trump administration free services. I forgot what do you call it when they do it for free or whatever. You know, but free services, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to tell you what cases you have to take and so on and so forth.
Pro bono.
Pro bono, yeah, these pro bono services and what have you. Some of the largest law firms in the nation, right? Now, got to do pro bono services for the Trump administration, right? Most of these were law firms who have formerly opposed, right? That were bringing up these charges against them, you know, prior to for all of these other charges that were against him and all of this type of stuff, right? So you got all of these law firms. So first you got the judges, right? You got the Supreme Court, and you know, you got you persecuted all of these other judges, you know what I'm saying, for all these other cases. Now you got these law firms, and now you just empowered the police force, right? Now, all of that being said, right, this is Project 25 coming into full effect. Now, what happens in, let's say, around June, right? Because Project 2025, which most of y'all said wasn't real and didn't exist, right? It's about 40% implemented right now. By July, it'll be 100% in place, right? But here we go. So let's just say, come June, young children, ages kindergarten through, you know, 12th grade, guess what? They're going to be out of school. Uh-oh, what just happened? Oh, we just defunded the Department of Education.
Right.
Oh, that means the summer programs ain't going to be there no more, right? Oh, wait a minute. That means those summer jobs that were funded by the Department of Education and stuff like that, they ain't gonna be there no more.
Yeah.
Right? All of those programs is gone. Right? Oh, wait a minute. You know, they got Vacation Bible School though. Oh, that might be a week or two, right? But they're gonna be out of school for 6 to 8 weeks, right? What are these kids gonna be doing for the whole summer? What are they gonna be doing besides hanging out? Maybe getting into some trouble. But guess what you just did? You just empowered the police force in every major city to go out there and round up all of these kids, right? And do all of this type of stuff.
You got another to me, right?
Oh my goodness, bro. Do you see what we're being set up for right now? Do you see the writing on the wall? What's about to happen this summer? Because I do.
But, and I'll say this, right? So I just had this conversation with these same brothers, right? And we was talking about, okay, is everybody supposed to send their kids to private school? Who can all afford to send their kids to private school?
Bruh, you talking about private school, you know, you're talking about next September. I'm talking about how do we get through the summer.
Well, even the summer programs, right? They cost money. The summer programs cost money. If I want to send my daughter to the Y.
Bro, I'm talking about survival. I'm talking about these kids got to live through the summer, bruh.
They do.
You see what I'm saying?
Without getting hurt.
Without getting killed. Because guess what? You just gave the police force a license to go out and kill these kids, bro, with no recourse.
Yeah. Because you just empowered them. You impugned them.
That's what I'm trying to, this is what we're facing right now, bro. Like, real talk, bro. You can't keep these kids in the house.
No. But if you do, then they
maybe I'm being hyperbolic, y'all. Maybe let me pull it back a little bit. But this is the shit that keeps me up at night.
Wait a minute, because Mick is Nostradamus. Because Mick be seeing stuff before it happens.
This is the shit that keeps me up at night, though. Really, bro. I'm sitting there like,
but you got grandkids.
What are these kids gonna do?
You got grandkids, right?
Yes.
So you talking about grandkids and whatnot and what they gonna do? And I'm like, sure, I got, you know, kids at home and I got, you know, friends that have children. I'm like, what are we gonna do with these children in this state of being where we are right now? What are we supposed to do?
Let's roll back the clock, man. You remember back in the 90s, right? When they was doing the whole thing in New York City with the wilding, right?
Oh my God.
Okay. It was wilding, right?
Yeah. Everybody.
And you remember?
Hopefully you saw it.
You remember? You saw the movie, right? You remember the kids that so-called, you know, got accused of raping the woman in Central Park, and you know the Central Park 5. You know the story, right?
Yep.
The main one who was behind pushing all of that, the newspaper articles and pushing all of that misinformation to put them kids in prison, for all of those years, even though that they was innocent, was your current president.
Go ahead and say it.
All right?
He
Hold up,
page article.
Hold up now. Am I wrong or am I right?
You're right. You're right.
So this same person, right, who is still mad to this day, right, that them kids was innocent and that they got out of jail, right, just took this whole thing to the 1000th level, right, and just empowered every police force in every major city in the United States to go and do likewise.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying, bro.
And what was it? Is it Tennessee that did the law about the immigrants or non-immigrant people? I think Tennessee was the first state. They talking about they was gonna arrest people if they didn't have their papers. And all that. And I'm like, but between that, this police state, and they already said, okay, right? So it's a few things that candidates run on. It's a few things, right? When we had the super predators, everybody's running on, you are a super predator and all that kind of stuff. Then we come back to the immigrants situation, and it's like, oh, they out here raping and killing everybody. And it's like, okay, so which group do they pick? Which group do they pick?
You know what they couldn't do then? But they can do now?
What's that?
Disappear your ass to San Salvador, some shit, to El Salvador.
That's what they doing though.
Yeah, that's what they can do now, bro. You know what I'm saying? And sell you to some doggone, slave camp down there, and the United States gets paid for it, and then you go down there and you working for free labor. Oh, what's that called? Working for free labor. Enslavement. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Oh, wait a minute. American citizens? Wait a minute. Did you just say that we could deport American citizens?
And make them slaves?
What? Oh, but in the beginning, y'all was like, oh, yeah, we need to get rid of some of these illegals. They taking the jobs, they doing this, that, and the other thing. There's no difference between this candidate and that candidate. It's a difference, bro. At the end of the day, people would be like, well, they can't do that to us because we're Americans. Man, I said a lot today, bro.
Oh, my God.
This shit is going to really probably hurt me in the long run.
I think we get shut down today.
Yeah.
I think we get shut down today.
I said a lot more than I wanted to say today, bro. Sometimes it's better to keep your mouth shut, but
No. You had to open it up. You had to open up that can of worms, bro. But at the same time, once again, I'll kind of bring it back to this point. We always say, get your information. You mentioned Project 2025. How many people have actually looked up Project 2025 and read it?
People said it wasn't real.
But I'm saying, how many people have actually read it? And then we talked about it on the last episode. I'm gonna go back to the last point, right? That ACLU has filed over 1,000 lawsuits against Donald Trump. The Congress has filed over 400 lawsuits because he's not doing anything in a congressional process, right?
But none of those lawsuits will go anywhere, bro, because the Supreme Court has already made this dude immune to the law.
But that goes back to Project 2025.
Exactly.
They already told us what they was going to do. They already told us, what was that, when Project 2025 came out, August or September of last year, of 2024? They told us already what he was going to do. And then we didn't listen.
Exactly.
And what you always tell me, when they show you who you are,
believe them.
When they show you who you are.
Hey, there was a movie, man, some years ago. This is the state that I believe that we are living in right now. There was a movie a long time ago called The Pianist. Right?
Oh, I love that movie, bro. That's one of my
remember the beginning of the movie, man, when dude was like going to work and stuff like that, and everything was kind of like normal, and then he's going to work, and then it wasn't so normal, right? Like you start seeing people, being rounded up and put onto the little, the train cars and cattle cars and all that type of stuff. Then next thing you know, he was being rounded up, right? That's the kind of like the state that we're in right now. It's still kind of normal, but it's not kind of normal.
It's not.
And people aren't really paying attention to what's going on around them right now. They're just kind of ignoring the non-normalness, right? They're just kind of ignoring it until it gets to a place where it's too late.
But you mentioned the economy, right? The economy, the stuff that's happening right now is not normal. It doesn't follow any traditional financial analysis, economic backgrounds. All you see is like, okay, we can say, okay, we're going back to Marxism. Nope. not that, right? We're going back to the Chinese system. Nope, not that. It's like we're going back to capitalism. Nope, not that.
Nope.
It doesn't follow any of the normalistic things that we see, even just from an apparent standpoint.
Right.
Just looking at it from a day-to-day, this stuff does not make sense.
Exactly.
And then look, I was having a conversation. I don't want to get too long-winded, but I was having a conversation with somebody about 2008, 2011. That was some of the biggest wealth transfers that ever occurred, right? Usually in a down economy, wealth transfers occur. So we have a down economy right now, right? We're talking about prices rising for everything, all these different things. People can't afford stuff. Usually that's a wealth transfer occurrence.
Yeah.
It is not happening right now. The wealth transfer is not happening. Even the wealthy are suffering right now. So and I say wealthy, I'm talking about the top, 2 to 3%, right?
Yeah.
So you talk 2-3%, you're talking about you making $1 million, $2 million a year, right? So even they are suffering. When you see that, it just doesn't add up, bro. It's not making sense. The math is not mathing right now, bro.
Yeah, they haven't reached oligarch status, man. The whole tariff, man. I'm gonna give you this whole tariff thing in a nutshell, right? So, tariffs was never about rebuilding industrialization in the United States, right? It was never about that, right? There was a agreement made that said that the wealthiest among us in the United States they were going to make the tax cuts for the wealthy permanent, right? In order to make the tax cuts for the wealthy permanent, right, you have to increase taxes on the middle and lower classes. But you can't just raise their taxes, right? That would be inhumane, right? So how do you do that? You increase their taxes in another way. By adding these tariffs, right, basically you increase sales taxes because foreign governments, right, don't pay tariffs. Consumers do, right, by way of sales tax. So by raising the sales tax, now people are paying more for their goods, right? Therefore, this way you can basically do away with the tax on the wealthy because those taxes are being replaced by the so-called tariffs that are being paid by the consumers. That was the plan from the gate, bro. At the end of the day, man.
And we still got to buy the products, right?
Yeah,
we still got to buy the products.
You got to buy the products. You know what I'm saying? Now, how you gonna pay for the products when wages, and salaries remain flat, right? And people are being laid off left and right. You know what I'm saying? Bro. So again, you know what I'm saying? You basically you killed the government sector. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? As far as jobs are concerned, the government sector is pretty much gone. You know, and at the end of the day, that was like, that was the heart of the middle class for the most part, right? So again, so what are you gonna do?
Yeah, and that was a big piece of it, right? Because you started talking about how many people are employed by the government sector. Then at the same time, how does that affect things like, my wife and I work in the nonprofit sector. So you started talking about nonprofits, and it's like, okay, I'm thinking, okay, you work in housing. How are these people supposed to pay for affordable housing when it's not really affordable in the first place? But then at the second place, right? You cutting off the programs that help them to pay for the housing.
Exactly.
It's like, and then you start talking about Social Security. You started talking about things like MBDA. You started talking about all these different programs that help them do these certain things. And it's like you cutting all that off. At the knees, bro. Not just at one at a time, not a toe at a time, but at the knees. I'm like, how is that supposed to work? And I'm like, I'm trying to figure out how some of these organizations are going to continue to function. And I'm trying to figure it out, bro. That's why I said the math is not mathing right now, bro. And like I said, I work in the nonprofit sector. The banker does I wear a lot of hats. And I'm saying, like, we've been cut off at the knees in a lot of, I don't want to name names, but we've been cut off at the knees in a lot of places. And I'm sitting here having conversations with congressmen. I'm having conversations with congresswomen. I'm like, they don't have a clue what's going on.
Yeah.
They don't know how to fix it. And I'm like, what do we do? So going back to the movie, right? We started talking about sinners, that fact of duplicity, right? I was like, okay, you're saying this. It's like what they say, talking out of the side of your mouth. I was like, it's two things going on at the same time. It don't work.
Yeah, right. Hey, bro, it's a scary time that we're living in. I don't want to be, you know what I'm saying, like a prophet of doom or anything like that. But there's things that we need to be doing right now, right, which does not include posting up pictures of big booty women, you know what I'm saying, that does not include the same circular conversations that prove that we're stuck in a loop of arrested development as grown-ass men. You know what I'm saying? We need to be having some real discussions about how are we going to move through this and past this, you know what I'm saying, in preparation for what's next, right? Because they are coming for our youth. They are coming for our women. They are coming for our future, right? They are coming for our culture. They are coming for your talent. The vampires are at the door, people. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to tell you, like, right now, at the end of the day, right, this is a very dangerous land that we're living in if you haven't already realized it, right? And it's becoming more and more dangerous with every executive order that passes. I don't know what else to say.
So I'm gonna say this. So I'm gonna try to leave it on a high note, right? So one of the things I keep talking about this group I was meeting with on Sunday. But anyway, with these group of brothers, and one of the things I told them is we have an immediate issue, right? We have an immediate issue with adults. So I'm gonna say adult black men, right? So whether they were in and out of the system, whether they've had job issues, whether they've had different things going on in their life, whatever, right? We have an immediate issue. They don't have help. They need a lift. I feel like that's our, in just my humble opinion, I feel like that's our immediate need. Because the kids are sponges, right? Kids you can pour into. You can grab a kid, give them a couple of nuggets of knowledge, they're going to soak it up. They may not listen to you at that point if they're teenagers or whatever. We was all teenagers at one point. We was hard-headed. But with the adults, bro, that's like trying to talk to a rock. That's like trying to talk to a rock. But guess what? I had you. I had people like you around me. And I was like, that's our immediate need. We need more brothers like this, doing stuff like this, having these kind of conversations and really getting into the knowledge. And what I tell you, like we was talking a week ago, and I said, put me in that group, bro.
Yeah.
Put me in that group. Because even if I don't agree, I want the knowledge.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I wasn't in the know.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like we need more brothers like saying, I'm gonna grab you, I'm gonna take you along with me.
Yeah.
And we need more of that. And I feel like that's what's not happening right now.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's so many brothers sitting in the dark saying, "Oh, I work for Amazon, or I work for J.P. Morgan Chase, or I work for Bank of America, and I'm making good money. I got a good career, and all this stuff." They staying in the dark. They staying in the dark because of comfortability.
Exactly.
And I'm like, stuff's gonna change.
Yeah.
And stuff is changing around you.
Exactly.
There's motion. There's motion around you, whether you want it to happen or not.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it at that. I'm like, please, grab you a good brother. Grab you a good brother. If it's a guard breaker, if it's a guard Mick, grab you a good brother and say, hey, I'm going to attach myself to you like white on rice, and I'm going to get the information, if nothing else.
Some of us need to be starting summer programs right now for the youth.
Oh, yeah.
Right? We need to be starting summer programs right now for the youth, y'all. I'm telling you, man, you probably be saving some lives. You know what I'm saying? Like that is like an immediate need right now. Is don't let these kids be out here. You know?
Man.
Don't let these kids be out here unprotected this summer. Like real talk. So,
man, I worked at Power 88, man. I was at Power 88. Don't change your dial. Power 88, the only radio station in town.
Yeah, it is.
And I worked there. I went there, and I'm gonna tell a quick story. I walked in. I was the only kid that walked in with a shirt and tie. Everybody else had on jerseys, T-shirts, and everything else. And it was a dude. Now he was young then, but he's a little older now. But Ashton Ridley, I'm gonna say his name because he probably saved my life. He grabbed me, said, "Jaron, I'm gonna put you on the radio." I was on the radio with Billy T. I was on it with Galaxy Glenn, and they put me on the radio that same day.
Yeah.
They said, "Tell your story."
Wow.
That same day.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Because I came there with a shirt and tie on.
Yeah, it is. Yo.
So.
Yeah, it is, y'all.
But yeah.
It's a lot, family. It's a lot, man. Listen, y'all. Look, you know, at the end of the day, man, you know what I'm saying? We just two casters out here smoking cigars, man, just having a conversation, sharing that conversation with you. You know what I'm saying? I hope, you know, like I said, get in when you fit in, man. We're not out here to offend nobody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We just out here trying to tell it like it is. You know what I mean? But, you know, that's what it is right now, man. Somebody walking in the door. But, yeah, that's what it is right now. We just doing what we do, you know, and, you know, it's all love, family. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's all love. You know what I'm saying? We're going to keep smoking. We're going to keep, you know, trying to, you know, drop that knowledge. But make sure you go out and peep out that movie, man. Make sure y'all, you know, keep that third eye open, man, so you see things, you know what I'm saying? Even look beyond the obvious, you know what I'm saying? To see things for what they really are out here, y'all. Because there's a lot that's going on, you know what I'm saying, that you got to see it for what it really is, man. See how things are lining up right now. You know what I'm saying? Have some discussions with your family and figure out, hey, you know what I'm saying, push come to shove, like, what's our next move? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, make sure you're having those talks.
Yeah, absolutely, man. But I think after that, we'll close it out.
Yeah, brother, you might as well.
Man, close it out. But yeah, appreciate all the love y'all keep showing us on Instagram. I think Instagram's been growing a little bit.
Yeah.
But we need more likes, more comments, more shares. Please interact with us. Interact with us. Like this,
y'all gotta have some comments on today.
Man, I'm telling you, like this convo was a banger today.
Yeah.
I'm like, please interact with us, even if it's not on Instagram. Like we always tell you, the whole library is on YouTube. Please go to YouTube, check out the library, check out all our content on YouTube. Please like, share, comment on YouTube as well. Click the bell link so you get the notification when we upload something new. So that way you can stay in the know. And then always, we keep saying, go to the podcast. We're on all the podcast platforms, Apple Music, Pandora, all those different things. Please go. Put us in your headphones while you're driving or while you at the gym or what have you. Please put us in your headphones and check out with us. But the podcast is always dope. Gives you an opportunity to listen to us and just take it in freely. Take it in freely and take in the information, and then go back to YouTube or go back to Instagram and make sure to tap in with us as well. But please, we welcome all the comments. We welcome the hate. We welcome the love. All of that. So we appreciate you always. Yeah.
Hey, y'all, check it out, man. So at the end of the day, man, like, you know what I'm saying, share this one with a friend. Like, real talk, man. Like, share this one with a friend, right? Information is power, okay? Also, man, like, just to give y'all a little, you know, knowledge, man, of where you might see Cigar Mick, you know. So, again, the Torch event that was scheduled for next week here in Las Vegas has been postponed. That event will now take place on November 1st. Okay, so make sure that you go ahead and get those tickets and come out and join us for that Torch event November 1st here. But on May 14th, man, you can find your boy. I will be at the Swan Club, all right, in New York City, in New York, man, at the Swan Club. So make sure y'all come and join us out there for that event. That's going to be with Enthusiast Report, the cigar, whiskey, and wine tasting event out there that's going to take place out there, man. So that's going to be a huge event, man. Make sure y'all come and join that. That's going to be hot, y'all. And then, of course, we got the Newport Beach event. Same with Enthusiast Report. That's going to be next month in June. So we want to see y'all come out there and hang out with us there as well. All right. So I think that's about it for right now. Oh, tomorrow night, right? We're celebrating 3 years right here at Tap and Ash, y'all, right? 3-year anniversary right here at Tap and Ash, y'all. So if you're in the area, you know, if you're within driving distance, come out here and party with us in the parking lot, y'all. It's going to be a crazy time. So make sure y'all come hang out with us for that event. You know what I mean?
That'll be dope. Yep.
That's what it is.
With that was a banger, man.
Yeah, man. That's a good one.
But please, like you said, share this episode.
Yeah, share this.
If you don't share a lot of episodes, or you don't click on, comment a lot of episodes from a Puff a Minute, this was the one.
That's the one.
You don't want this to be the one that came true and you didn't listen to it.
Come on, y'all. There it is, y'all. Peace, and we out of here, y'all. One more time. I'm your man, Cigar Mick.
It's the banker, people.
And another puff a minute in your ear, y'all. We out of here. Peace.
Making connections, sharing life's sweet grind. From childhood whispers to dreams intertwined. A conversation flows, a soulful dance in this cozy spot. We take a chance, from cigars to cognac, we cover it all. Every laugh, every tear in this hallowed hall. A puff a minute, conversing with the best legends and rising stars. Put your heart to the test, exploring the journeys from where they began to where they now stand, a testament to man. From cigar to laughs, let the stories ignite, a sanctuary of wisdom where dreams take flight. In the glow of embers, let your spirit soar. With every puff, we're craving more. A cultural haven where the cigars burn slow. In a world of chatter, we let the truth flow. Sharing our passions, the laughter and the strife. In this dim lit room, we celebrate life. A puff a minute, bringing tales untold. In the smoky haze, connections unfold. With a puff of smoke, a bond is made. No time to waste, let the memories cascade.